interesting way. He's removed out, but he, with Vicky Pacheco, etc., from Iraq, bring down the Parikar government and is rewarded again by the Congress party with again the same ministership, and then he comes up with regional plan 2011. But why did he come out with 2011? Because this amendment was shut down in that brief period by the government. It ended. We have detailed notes. Those notes have been annexed in the petition that is challenging 16B, which was put forth by Vijay Sardesai. Vijay Sardesai said that it is creating, again, same language, hindrances, and there are already provisions within the TCP Act to allow for changes after 5 years. You need a plan to work. You need to work it out after 5 years. Interestingly, in one of the comments made by Sardesai, he says that ordinary people are being inconvenience is caused to them. When the petition was filed in the High Court, the work of crunching the numbers, looking at how much is being, the High Court told the Town and Country Planning Ministry that all the commissions you're processing, tell them they are provisional. When we calculated, now this is an interesting figure, we did two calculations. A calculation of the amount of land that was converted from 1988 till 2005. We came out to a figure from the state zone of about 12 square kilometers of land. In that period of time, 12 square kilometers, Goa lost or land was converted 12 square kilometers. When we looked at how many under 16B was converted in 1 year, the figure was 7.5 square kilometers. 7.5. So we have achieved half of what was converted in a matter of 1 year. We presented this report. Most of the zones were A2 zones. Orchard land was being converted. It was the bulk of it. And the other thing, we also did a systematic histogram breakdown of the sort of areas. And here's another interesting thing we found, that almost 40% of the areas that were converted exceeded something like 3,000 square meters of land. So these are ordinary people. All of this has convinced the judges, and when we had a change in guard, we had Vishwajit Rani becoming Town Country Planning Ministership, he's the one who scrapped it because he had no stakes in it. That amendment has been scrapped, but we are yet to see the notification of these things. So this is the same fact.
But the new regional plan came up, or that still is on hold?
I'm sorry?
In between there was a big campaign, right, with GBA and all about the regional plan.
Yes.
So is that, was it notified or that's still in abeyance?
So when Parikar was Chief Minister, the regional plan was kept in abeyance, but permissions for construction commissions had to look at both plans, RP 2001 and RP 2021. Because RP 2021 had much more sophisticated zoning. They had superimposed, no development slopes, etc. Lots of things that the previous RP 2001 did not have that mapping capability at that time. So he was saying, Vijay Sardesai said that he would first change the plan, correct the plan, but we all know that after he became ministership, he had the ministership, he just fully notified Regional Plan 2021 without any corrections, not that we are aware of.
Have you given the whole history of the Tamil process before?
That's a very condensed version of the book. The long version which is another
yeah, so that is open access on sure. Yeah, so I have a slightly longer book. But we are working on a paper. We are working on an article that tries to provide an account of two things, urbanization and urban planning, because most of Goa is an urban population. We are the most urban part of India. In the last census, about 62% of Goans live in urban areas. Ironically, the most beautiful country, one of the most beautiful states, is also the most urban state. And we are sort of exploring that and sort of trying to chronicle, because it's a bit of a hodgepodge. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
They don't know this. When you ask us, that few of them, like Edgar Rivero, Raju can sit one day and really give you, and it's so confusing. It's so confusing. I have notes and notes, and it looks so dissolving.
Because it would be also interesting to know the history during the Portuguese, I mean, from whatever date, then what happened after 61, up to 74, when the North because we had some recognition. If you see Margao and all, we had some. I've seen documents of like construction license of 50 years. Like examples. So there was, I mean, there was South Central municipality which governed the whole of South.
Carlos, to add to what you're saying, you know, I have this belief that the 1974 Town and Country Planning Act, this is just my hunch, was a kind of a ploy to create an artificial bottleneck, because when the law was not there, no one built in the fields. It is after the law came in that everyone started building in the fields, because there was so much of a disparity, seriously, economic disparity between these two zones. And the politicians have taken all the powers in their hands and kept a lot of arbitrary powers which they used to, strengthen their own hold over the system. So without 1974, you didn't have that kind of push towards building in the fields. No one had to tell you don't build in the field. You didn't. You just didn't. And after it came about, people have an incentive to break the law, because there is such a high stake in it, in breaking the law.
So are you saying that because you need permission to do
Yeah.
that becomes
Yes.
a rent-seeking
Yeah. Exactly.
windmill? Right? Is that what it's
Yeah.
But it's not a green signal to build in the field.
Yeah, it's
No, but people didn't build before the law, Carlos. Before the law came, people didn't build before
They were not
74.
even allowed to build. That was
No, you didn't want to build. You didn't want to build.
Think about it.
Why would you build where all the rainfall water is going to seep in and come into your house and all those kind of things? Dump extra mud. You would build on some barren area. Made more economic sense.
So this should be part of the history. How and
I
why.
have
How and why.
There is a
Why?
book written by a historian, fantastic. I mean, what she said, I didn't know anything. It's again, Frederick, it's in your publication. Frederick, she published this book about how planning was done by these parochias.
Celsa Pinto.
Not sensible. Parochias. Yeah, she said that we had a separate, she said it under Portuguese time, there was another body apart from the comunidades that was created actually to sort of create a more democratic structure for governance in various parts of the world. It's fun.
Sharmila Pace.
Sharmila Pace.
Okay.
Exactly. Sharmila Pace book. Yeah, published by
But in South Central, the municipality governed the whole taluka.
municipality government the whole country.
Because they have given construction license in Kupoli.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
I've come across that stuff.
Thank you.
Since you mentioned communal garbage, is there a chapter on communal garbage in this book? Because that is one of the biggest parcels of land which are held by this community system. But sadly, the government is not doing anything to protect them. Though now recently some kind of things, kind of instructions are being given to the revenue authorities, to see that matters don't go ex parte and things like that. But generally, even the bringing of the Agricultural Tenancy Act has not helped, in fact, to develop agriculture. In fact, many of these fields are now fallow.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the story that we don't tell in detail. I mean, it's what we mentioned now about the Tenancy Act and what the other acts relating to cultivation and land rights. It's something that we discuss in the introduction to the book as one of these 4, 5, 6 different trajectories of change that combine to pressure. And I know that there are competing assessments among different scholars and authors about the consequences of since it's not